There is a night prayer, not made of recited words or formal petitions, but of pure, unadulterated presence, that resonates through the cosmos with such intensity that even the celestial beings, in their eternal dance, halt their movements to bear witness. This isn't a prayer you memorize, it's a state you enter, a profound communion that strips away pretense and speaks directly to the heart of creation. We often imagine prayer as a dialogue, a list of requests presented to a divine ear. But what if the most powerful form of prayer wasn't about asking at all, but about aligning? This night prayer emerges from the quietest hour, when the world around you hushes its clamor, and the only sounds left are the whispers of your own restless mind and the rhythmic beat of your heart. It's in this sacred stillness that true power is found, not in the volume of your voice, but in the depth of your surrender. Angels, those ethereal guardians and messengers, are said to listen not because you've found the perfect incantation, but because you've opened a direct channel. You've become a beacon of raw, authentic vulnerability, a soul laid bare before the vastness. It's a rare and profound sight, a human spirit so utterly present that it momentarily transcends its earthly bounds. What precisely happens when we achieve this state, when we shed the day's worries and the ego's demands? Consider Alara, a woman consumed by the relentless hum of modern life. Her days were a blur of deadlines, family obligations, and the gnawing anxiety that she was never quite enough. Every night, she'd fall into bed exhausted, her mind still racing, her prayers feeling like empty echoes. One particularly heavy evening, unable to sleep, she didn't try to pray in the way she knew. Instead, she simply lay there, staring into the dark, feeling the immense weight of her own existence. She allowed herself to feel every bit of her exhaustion, her fear, her longing for peace. There were no words, only a deep, aching sigh that seemed to originate from the very core of her being. In that moment of absolute stillness and complete emotional honesty, something shifted. It wasn't a sudden burst of divine light or a booming voice. It was a profound, unshakable sense of being heard, utterly and completely. A quiet peace settled over her, not because her problems had vanished, but because her resistance to them had. She wasn't fighting anymore. She was simply there. Could this deep, unburdened presence be the very essence of the prayer that captivates the unseen? The true power of this night prayer lies in its radical simplicity. It's a moment of profound gratitude for the breath in your lungs, for the simple fact of your existence, even amidst hardship. It's a complete release of control, not just over your circumstances, but over your desperate need to understand them. You are not trying to fix anything, you are simply witnessing. This surrender is what beckons the celestial, for it demonstrates a trust so absolute it borders on the divine itself. Why do we so rarely encounter this deep wellspring of peace? Because our human conditioning pulls us in the opposite direction. We are taught to strive, to achieve, to control. Our minds are factories of solutions and strategies, constantly trying to outthink the universe. But the night prayer demands the opposite, as a cessation of striving, a quiet resignation to what is. It's terrifying for the ego to let go, to admit that it doesn't have all the answers, to be utterly still in the face of uncertainty. Yet, those who dare to step into this space describe a ripple effect that extends far beyond their personal peace. Alara found that her anxiety didn't disappear, but its grip loosened. She began to respond to life's challenges with a newfound calm, a steady presence that surprised even herself. Her interactions with others became more patient, more compassionate, as if the quiet strength she found in the dark hours radiated into her waking life. Is it possible that this inner transformation subtly alters the very fabric of our external reality? The concept of surrender here is not one of giving up or resignation to fate in a passive sense. It is an active, courageous act of trusting the unfolding. It's acknowledging that you are part of something far grander than your individual struggles, and that there is a wisdom guiding the universe that is infinitely greater than your own. To surrender is to step out of the way and allow that greater wisdom to work through you, to guide you, to hold you. This takes courage, a deep inner fortitude that many underestimate. To sit with your fears, your inadequacies, your unresolved questions, without immediately reaching for distraction or solution, is a hero's journey in itself. It's a confrontation with the self, a brave exploration of the inner landscape that most of us avoid at all costs. But it is precisely in this confrontation, this willingness to be completely vulnerable, that the angels find something truly remarkable to observe. Because in that raw vulnerability, in that act of laying down your defenses and simply being, you invite an unseen support system. You don't need to ask for help. Your open heart becomes an invitation. It's a feeling of being cradled in the vastness, knowing that even in your moments of deepest uncertainty, you are not alone. There's an inexplicable comfort, a silent assurance that permeates your spirit, regardless of what the morning light might bring. The ultimate promise of this night prayer isn't necessarily the swift granting of your wishes or the magical disappearance of your troubles. It is something far more profound and enduring, a deep, unshakable peace that transcends circumstance. It's the peace that comes from knowing you are connected, utterly and intimately, to the source of all life. It is the peace that allows you to face the chaos of the world with an inner calm, knowing that you have, in those quiet hours, touched something eternal. So as the day fades and the world prepares for slumber, consider a different kind of vigil. One where you speak no words, make no demands, but simply as Ari. Allow your heart to open in gratitude, your anxieties to dissipate into the quiet dark, and your spirit to rest in profound surrender. For in that silent, honest offering, you might just find that you've uttered the most powerful prayer of all, a prayer that ripples through the cosmos, compelling even the angels to pause and listen.